Destiny Rise of Iron and get the Iron Gjallarhorn.
Anyway, you were recently up at Bungie in Redmond or Bellevue? Bellevue, Washington.
Yeah.
Playing a little bit, if not all, of Rise of Iron, which regardless of what you did play, we can only talk about a little bit today because there's an embargo yesterday, there's an embargo today, and there's one on the 20th, which is tomorrow. There's one tomorrow too?
There's one Monday.
I should have
There's one tomorrow, or one today and one tomorrow. Every one of them are at 10 a.m.
And it releases September 20th.
Next week.
But I did write down what you can talk about.
Good.
So
Don't get me in trouble.
The title.
yeah.
The release date.
So, I mean, just like broader strokes right now.
Sure.
How does this compare to like Taken King? Because obviously Taken King like revamped almost the foundation of how Destiny worked in a lot of ways. But how Rise of Iron, what should we expect from this as far as like what it's doing for Destiny before, 2 purportedly comes out next year or whenever?
Sure. Well, first of all, since it is priced at $29.99, it's kind of like in between what you would expect of like a Taken King and like their previous DLCs, which were $20. So it's a little bit meatier than just, House of Wolves or The Dark Below, but it's definitely same time less than Taken King. I can't speak too much into detail about like, how much it like changes from Taken King, but I would say Taken King probably did more for the game like overall than this will. But this has a cool story that, follows the Lords of Iron. So you get that kind of background story about like, some of the guns you farmed and got from like the old Iron Banners, like who's Jolder? Like, that's a person that you're going to learn about, or Gillian, if I'm saying his name right. So like there's some of that background story. So it's kind of like a building up more of the world that already exists, and then kind of going to the new social space too, which I can't talk about the social space, but I can talk about getting there, which is kind of a cool setting because you've never really seen the kind of like the snowy mountain kind of stuff that you're seeing right now. Previously in Destiny, at least not that I can remember. And it's kind of fun. This is the first mission. It's kind of the first 10 minutes that you go through, give or take, depending on how slow or fast you go. But you kind of get to go up that gondola that's been in the trailers. That's kind of cool. And pretty much get to ascend a mountain to where these Lords of Iron used to kind of reside. They're kind of their headquarters,
Sure.
where they were based out of.
And I spoke to Bungie at Gamescom, and they were saying like, if you can't tell already, Rise of Iron is very influenced by like Game of Thrones. It's almost like a fantasy / sci-fi setting now, which like a lot of things are influenced by Game of Thrones. But no, like the first image they showed off was who's the main like Lord of Iron now?
Saladin?
Saladin. They showed him
he's the
with his
only one
hammer,
left.
with his back to like this big breach in a wall, and then the two wolves. And the motion capture dog they use for the wolves in this is the same one they use for Jon Snow's direwolf.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
this guy, he's like
woof.
the Troy Baker dog of video games. But yeah, so you got to play King of the Mountain, the first mission. Is that the one where you're ascending?
Yeah,
to the
you're
new social
ascending
space?
up the mountain, and then you're gonna by fighting your way up that mountain, you'll essentially open access to that social space. Unfortunately, I can't talk too much about it, but
It's just a dance hall. People just doing their emotes.
there might be some of those new ones. You never know.
Embargoes are screwing this whole thing up. But then there's also remastered strikes, right? Devil's Lair and Wretched Eye.
Yeah, so Siva is this kind of like new thing that, they were trying to kind of keep away because it was like really powerful, but the Fallen have essentially gotten their hands on it.
It's a
And
nanobot plague, as Bungie was telling me.
yeah, so they're using that to kind of enhance, like they haven't totally figured it out yet, but like they've used it to like enhance themselves. So that's kind of where you start fighting different enemies now because they're kind of enhanced with the Siva. So you'll see, Dregs do some stuff that's a little bit different where I think, if you kill them, sometimes, they'll have like this exploding orb that'll chase you. And if you don't shoot that orb, you and your teammates are going to get hurt. So that's like one dynamic. I think the Vandals throw down like those like mines that slow you. And so there's like a little bit of a different dynamic of gameplay in terms of like the Fallen you're dealing with. They're not exactly the same as you fought them before. And the strikes are kind of the same, but there's like twists, I guess. So that's why you can call them remastered strikes, I guess, because you're kind of fighting the same bosses. Sans like that new one with the ogre and the kind of like the Archon, but like the Sepix one, you pretty much go through it the same way. You got to fight through the first part, which is like in a warehouse area, which is like almost the same, just kind of different enemy types a little bit.
It reminds me of like the Taken enemies. They were it was like the 3 factions just like redone a little bit with Taken abilities and whatnot. Like the Scream, Throw, and with that one.
Yeah, that was super
phone
annoying though. The captain thing that would blind you. Yeah. So it's kind of more like that. I mean, the twists are interesting, but like I would say, it's not that different. You know, like sure, you know, Sepix has like a shield now around him that's based off of a certain element type. So there's going to be a captain that's holding like a cannon that you have to kill, and then you can't damage Sepix until you shoot him with the, you know, the type of element that you need to get the shield off, and then you resume DPS at that point. So there are like those little twists that's kind of like the first time I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then, you know, you can do it a couple more times and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just a little trick and that's fine, I guess.
What about PvP mode? I played a little bit at Gamescom.
Yeah, so
which is essentially it's kill confirmed.
Yeah, kill
what
confirmed.
is it?
It's called Supremacy,
Yeah.
but it's essentially kill confirmed. So every time you kill, you know, an opposing Guardian, they're gonna drop a crest, is what they're called, and I guess the unique twist is that you can kind of see the emblem of the class you killed. I guess I never really paid attention to it. It was just more like, oh, there's like an engram looking thing. I better pick that up, or you can deny it, etc.
Sure.
It's fun. I mean, some of the maps almost seemed in a way designed for that kind of mode, because there's a lot more areas where there's like close quarters and whatnot.
Sure,
So you're just
yeah.
really fighting over the crests and whatnot. So it's kind of faster paced, I would say.
I don't know if it was I think it was Skyline, because there's like, it says in the bar, we talk about Skyline, the last exit maps, but I think it was Skyline. It was kind of like this exterior ring around these close quarters, inner corridors and whatnot. And that's where it got pretty hectic when you were rounding a corner to get a dog tag or
Yeah,
whatever.
dog tag.
Sorry.
You cod, man. You
Still
love that cod,
stuck
huh?
in kill confirmed.
Yeah.
But then that like makes you go into there where like there's probably 3 people with shotguns waiting for you to
Yeah,
come
exactly.
try to grab it.
It's kind of that old thing with Call of Duty, same thing. It's like, do people bait the crests and have you like want to go pick it up and just wait for you to kill you, or are people just going to chase after it? It's kind of that dynamic that's not in Destiny yet, but I think if you've played a Call of Duty, you're familiar with that kind of game type.
Sure.
It's fun. It's fast. I mean, I think the new Iron Banner is going to be Supremacy, so that's cool. They've said that already.
It definitely feels like more of a DLC in this sense than like a traditional expansion, whereas Taken King felt like a big expansion to me. Well, it was. It
Yeah, well, this
revamped a
still
lot
at
of things.
least still has a raid too, which
Yeah.
will come out 3 days after. I didn't get to see the raid, so I'm still interested.
Friday
in that.
after?
Yeah, it comes out Friday to give
Cool.
people enough time to kind of get up to speed to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is Destiny Rise of Iron, the new expansion coming out. It'll be September 20th for PS4, Xbox One for $30.
Yep, at 2 a.m. Pacific.
Cool. So that will be out in next week.
Yep. You're reviewing that, right?
I am.
All
We'll
right.
be
You are.
streaming at like 2 a.m., I think, you and I.
Oh,
I think
boy.
so.
Really?
I
We did it last
think
time for
so.
Taken King. We
We'll
had that.
see.
We got to come up with a new
We had
bet.
that was a crappy bet. We don't speak of that bet.
It all came down to I had like this new cape on that boosts your experience because we were both like popping the bounties that we had saved up beforehand. And I don't even.
The bet got completed in less than 5 minutes.
I didn't have you buy me
Boring.
a steak. You got me
know,
like
I know.
sushi for lunch instead
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
steak
yeah.
because
It was
I
just-
felt bad about it.
Gas station sushi.
It felt anticlimactic, very, very much so. And it was just like, all right, cool. Oh, okay, we're done with the bet, guys. Let's go into the game.
Yeah, and then by that point I was coffee crashing at 2 a.m. I think same thing launched. Anyway,
That'll be great.
yeah. You don't play Destiny? I remember the
I
Taken
want
King. You
to.
tried getting into it a little bit.
No,
They're back into it.
no.
No,
Wanted to.
not your thing.
I
You don't
want
like
to.
chores.
I want to get
Like
into
Tay.
Destiny, but you know what it is? It's the loot that I want, and I like the gameplay. Like I played it when it first came out, like even back in the beta, and I enjoyed that. But it didn't grab me. It was just so much of a shooter without enough narrative, and
It's better now. I wouldn't say like it's like, oh my god, it's like crazy better, but it's definitely it's in a way better place than it was when you played.
man, I just need more time at this stage.
Yeah.
That's all there is preventing me from
Destiny
doing
2.
it.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm sure we'll do a segment soon about like where they go from here with Destiny 2 or something. But I'll be playing with you, get my light
Yeah.
level up to speed before. I haven't played in a
Scrub.
while. I've been playing the last couple days. Get raid ready when it comes out because there's gonna be a spark of light again to get you.
Yeah, but
level.
that one, you know, like if you haven't been playing or if you want to play a different class or something like that, let's say you've been playing Hunter, but you're like, oh, I want to play Titan for Rise of Iron, it'll bring you up to level 40, which is like max actual like level, and then it'll also bring you up to 280 light level, which is like based off your gear, but you'll get somewhere to start. I
Cool.
guess. Yeah.
So, yeah, I
that's
guess-
collection though. That's the $60 one.
Cool. We kind of kept talking about it, so just to close it out again. Destiny Rise of Iron, $30, PS4, Xbox One, September 20th. Keep an eye out for it.